It's on the federal level
Sure.
and long-term, good for our industry, good for consumers for sure. Basically, what the new law is doing is making sure that consumers are contacted based on products and services that they are explicitly and actually requesting, right? And the compliance around TCPA law and making sure proper companies are listed in the disclosures. There's some loopholes that have been around since really TCPA law was enacted in 2013 that some people have exploited and taken advantage of, and really marketers have just come to play within this loophole, which is legal.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are very excited to have our guest, Mr. Rob from not just OneSpeed, but from Onscript AI as well. And we'll be diving into his story a little bit, as well as what it is, his companies, what they do, and then some engaging insights into the technology industry, as always, right? So make sure to stick around. But without further ado, Rob, welcome to the Grow IT podcast. Thanks for hopping on, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Treg. Happy to be here today and to speak with you.
Rob, I think to kick things off, if you would please introduce yourself and just tell us a bit around your background, a bit about your story, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Rob Camhe. I've been in the digital affiliate marketing, lead generation, call center marketing industry for 20 years now. It was the only industry that I've known. Started right out of college. And I've worked my way up through the ranks at all different types of companies, small startup-based companies, larger publicly traded companies, privately held companies that went out and became public. And most recently, I've started two businesses, OneSpeed, which is a digital performance marketing agency specializing in business to consumer lead generation for service industries, insurance, home services, financial services, things like that. And Onscript AI, which is an AI-powered quality control, compliance, and call analytics business, built mostly to support businesses who run call centers that want to understand better insights into agent performance, why their best agents are their best, why their worst agents are the worst, how to improve performance based on the insights that we're able to provide, all powered by our AI modeling. So that's a little bit about the companies now. I love our industry. It's the only industry that I've known, but it's been a real good ride for me over the last 20 years, both in what I've learned, being able to stay on the forefront of technology, people that I've met along the way who are now partners in my businesses now. So
Awesome.
that's about me. I'm from New York originally, born and raised. I went to school out in Wisconsin, the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Moved back to New York, lived there for 10 years, met my wife, had our first daughter, got out of Dodge, moved down here. You see maybe some palm trees in the background.
Yeah,
I'm in
I
sunny
do.
South Florida now. I've been here for 7 years, have two girls. They're here. There's my wife. Those aren't just stock photos. So love South Florida, and that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Tell me, Rob, based on your expertise, like you said, this is straight out of college. You've been at this for quite some time, like you said, around 20 years. Based on your expertise, what are you currently picking up from, market trend point of view, currently in your space? What's the latest? What's happening these days? What way is the wind blowing?
Yeah, great question. So I'll speak to that from two perspectives. The
Sure.
first will come from the tech side, which is more relevant to what we're doing with OnScript and AI. So obviously companies are embracing AI in many different ways, right?
Mm.
How do you use AI? I think the extreme of it is like, how do we use AI to replace human jobs? I think the more pragmatic approach is, how do we leverage AI to enhance, right, and make easier the jobs that humans have to do, or allow humans to level up to more important, meaningful roles in the organization that previously had to be solved with humans and now could be solved with AI. Specifically in AI, what I'm getting excited about is the more prevalent use of like agentic AI. And basically, we've built models that now we train the models and we tell them, hey, this is the output we're looking for, right, to help a client.
Yeah.
But in order to create the output, our campaign and account managers here at OnScript have to build the campaigns, refine the campaigns, maybe tweak how we're asking the AI questions to get better answers.
Right.
What we're now working on is, okay, so what we do, I should probably explain that. We take call recordings and we analyze them. In order to analyze them, we have to build out campaign settings, scorecard evaluations. Are the agents following the script? Are they rebuttaling? Are they asking compliance questions the right way? How are they rebuttaling? Things like that, for example. And in order to get the output, we have to build those campaigns. So
Right.
with what's coming, we're going to be able to just take the recordings in, and our AI will build the campaigns after just listening to the calls
That's
without
awesome.
so and you see that across the board, right? With other use cases of AI, and companies that are getting smart about it will leverage that to not only like help them with the output, but essentially actually doing the work to create the output. So I see more of that happening. I see all sorts of applications of AI in the insurance space, for instance. We do a lot of work in the insurance space, so just getting better on modeling out various things, leveraging AI and getting the data in and not having to do a lot of manual work. Helping with media buying, for instance, obviously a lot of groups will use AI to mass produce creatives and split testing, make this yellow, give me 100 different iterations, right? Tweak the copy, things like that. But
Yeah.
actually taking that a step further and having the AI not only suggest and build creative, but optimize based on like one-to-one unique user experiences, right? Okay, this creative asset for this person, this for that, versus more broader audiences. So no surprise, AI is here to stay. Companies that are not embracing it are going to be left behind. I'm not pressing the panic button and AI is going to replace humans and in 2 years we're going to be slaves to AI robots. No, but I do advocate and we use AI to help enhance what we do. Give me one second. Let me take a sip.
Excellent. Tell me, and then from a
one more insight that's important. So
yep.
on our marketing agency side, we do a lot of business to consumer lead generation. So on that side of the house, there's a lot of talk on compliance. Mainly, the FCC has announced on January 27th, there will be a major change in how companies can contact potential customers and prospects. The whole notion of one-to-one consent is coming to play. It's real. There's a big hearing tomorrow on December 18th. Maybe there will be some changes, and maybe there will be a stay. But everybody right now, from the actual end advertisers and companies to the aggregators and marketers to the technology partners that sit in the middle, are all working together to figure out how to solve for the new compliance laws that are being enacted. So a lot of focus and attention is being dedicated to that now, coming out of the new year. Short runway till these new proposed changes come into place. So that's top of mind as well.
Right. The would you say those changes that will come into play, is that something specifically towards your state, or is that something you think that will happen across the board?
Yeah, it's on the federal level, and
Sure.
long term, good for our industry,
Mhm.
good for consumers for sure. Um, Basically, what the new law is doing is making sure that consumers are contacted based on products and services that they are explicitly and actually requesting, right? And the compliance around TCPA law and making sure proper companies are listed in the disclosures. There's some loopholes that have been around since really TCPA law was enacted in 2013, um, that some people have exploited and taken advantage of, and really marketers have just come to play within this loophole, which is legal, right, and compliant as of now. So it's a little bit more of a tightening up. I think it's certainly on the extreme side. I think there's something to be said for comparison shopping. If I'm a consumer and I want an auto insurance quote, I want to be contacted by more than one company. I want to be able to compare, right? And
Mhm.
and put the best policy for me at the best cost, right? It's a commodity. I don't care if I have auto insurance from Allstate, State Farm, Liberty Mutual, as long as the coverage is what I need at the price that works for me. I don't care who's insuring and underwriting me, right? So
Right.
I think there's some limitations in the new laws that are being enacted, and hopefully it won't land at true one to one. But everybody is preparing, the groups that care about compliance, like us and many of the partners that we deal with, are preparing for the new world of one to one. And it will be on the federal level. It will impact any marketer who is buying data to contact, working with call centers, right, on qualification and warm transferring. So there
Mhm.
will be a major change. Long term, a good change. Still not sure it will solve the problem that I believe the FCC is seeking to solve as it relates to consumer protection. You still have to deal with the groups that don't care about compliance, offshore groups, groups that aren't going to be held to the same scrutinization, right, as groups with US entities, right? Are they going to stop calling? Like, you get a phone call from a number you don't recognize these days. Do you answer? Probably not. If it's a real
Yeah.
person, they're going to leave a voicemail. They're going to send you a text message, right? So consumers are conditioned these days to not answer the phone if they don't recognize the number, for the most part. That won't stop until there's a change of behavior from the groups who are sending these phone calls and text messages illegally.
Right. Right. The
That's my 2 cents.
Tell me, Rob, if we can put down value as a topic, right? Would you maybe please elaborate a bit on on OneSpeed and OnScript, from the two sides, what is the specific value that these two companies of yours bring to the
Sure.
table to other businesses?
Yeah. So on the OneSpeed side, we are a pure performance marketing agency. So our specialty and our niche is to be tied to certain KPIs of our advertisers and brands that we support. So we
Right.
structure our deals and our contracts to be paid on some performance model that is aligned um, with important KPIs for the client. On the extreme end, it's on a cost per acquisition or per sale model. Um, so why that's important is because our value prop to the advertiser is, hey, Mr. Advertiser, what's a customer worth to you? Advertisers that we work with, they need to know that. If they don't know what a customer is worth to them, then they're not a good candidate to work with us. And we can help
Sure.
them get there. But if they're like, hey, every new customer that I sign up for a policy is worth $100 to me. Say, okay, well, if I'm able to get you customers at $100 per policy, would you buy as much as you can from me? Yes, great. So our job as a marketing company is to provide them with data, with customers, right, that back out to those targets for them versus a traditional agency that say, hey, you want to go buy on Facebook or Meta or Google or send out emails, we're going to charge you and we're going to tack on 10 to 15% of what we spend for our services. Our
Right.
methodology is, hey, we're going to hit your target, right, of your customer acquisition. Once we dial those levers in, you're going to pay me along the economics that we've discussed, but I'm backing into your target and how I get there, right? And the margin that I make to get there is on my side, right? But you're only paying me for performance. So if I go out and I spend $1 million on Google, but I'm not
Yeah.
delivering you customers, the risk is on me, right?
Right.
It's not on
Okay.
you. So people like that. We're
Yeah.
also definitely specialized in a handful of categories. We do a lot of work inside of health insurance. We have a large call center operation. So we also will do BPO work for our clients where they may need our agents for whatever they would like. Maybe it's qualification, maybe it's retention and customer service, right? So we've got that model as well. We build websites. We do some consulting as well. We leverage, I've got, there's about 5 of us on the OneSpeed side now. We've all worked together at previous companies for a long time. And we bring with us almost 100 years of combined experience in the space. So our know-how, our relationships, we do some consulting, but we mainly focus on generating data leads from our websites, calls from our call centers, and selling those to advertisers on a performance model. On the OnScript side, our utility is AI-powered QC. And we built OnScript, my partners and I, because we've run very large call center operations. And the element of quality control of agent, both from like a compliance perspective, but also a performance perspective, has historically been a very manual, human-driven process where we would have people just listening to calls, evaluating them on like an Excel sheet, right, of a scorecard, inefficient, biased, right? And we sought out to build a better solution. And that's what we did with OnScript. So we built OnScript to solve the problem that we faced, my partners and I, in our experience working in the call center industry. That has not pivoted, but we've enhanced what we do with OnScript because not only can we support businesses who have call centers, but we also provide a lot of analytics and information about calls in general, whether they're sales calls, customer service calls. And we built really cool technology and automation to share the insights that we're able to provide in our platform back out to our end users. So they might want to build upon the insights that we're able to create in OnScript. We have an outbound API. They can suck all the information that we provide in OnScript into their CRM, into their dialer, into their data visualization platform, Looker, Tableau, whatever, right? We build upon it. So you'd be surprised, like an example, on the media buying side, a lot of marketers are relying on event pixels, right? To determine this is a good click for me to go buy on. They might get conversion data back from their advertiser. Great, that's a good KPI. Other than that, they're really getting, these arbitrary event pixels. Like, okay, here's a call that comes in, fire a pixel after 10 minutes of duration or 30 minutes of duration. It's okay, but it's not a perfect science. What I mean by that is you may have a 30-minute call that you fire an event pixel back into Google or Meta and say, this is a good call. That 30-minute call may be a call where somebody's calling in to cancel their policy. You just see the duration of the call. The flip side of that is you may have a 1-minute call that gets disconnected because it's technology. And that consumer who calls in may be very interested and motivated to buy your product or service. Now, you're not firing that event pixel because it hasn't hit your duration threshold. So one of the tools that we've built in OnScript is what we call an intent pixel. And that says, regardless of the time or duration of the call, regardless of the outcome of the call, we're going to tell our clients why people are calling in, the intent of their call, right? And we can fire that back into their media platforms. So the utility that we provide is very fast, accurate, and generally inexpensive analysis and quality control of agent performance, far cheaper than humans, right? Far more efficient than humans. And we do it for very, very quickly. Like we can score our conversations in 3 minutes, right? No human can get through an hour call, listen to it, QC it, right?
In that
It's going to
amount of
take
time.
even at 1.5x speed. So that's the utility we provide. And unlike other SaaS platforms and AI platforms, we are the only group out there that I know of that goes month to month with our clients, performance-based model. You don't like us, you found a better mousetrap, pay as you go. And that's a real strong value prop. And we give every single person who wants to try our platform a free trial. So our clients can test drive the car, make sure everything that I tell them on a demo, that I show them, is accurate for their use case, right? And only at that point do they have to start paying, and they can stop paying at any time. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me, in your opinion, like you've mentioned, I mean, the experience that you've got from both companies, and you've been doing this for such a long time. Tell me, Rob, what type of mindset, in your opinion, is needed to be a successful founder, leader of a company?
yeah, great question. I think first and foremost, it is like the unrelenting belief and the real like internal belief in yourself that you can
Right.
do it. And I think if you speak, I've spoken, my bosses along the way that started businesses and founded businesses that I still consider mentors, friends of mine who go out and start their own businesses. Like everybody suffers from a degree of imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Why am I here? How do I have these businesses? Am I good enough? Right?
Yeah.
And fighting, that negativity in between the ears, right? And our brain that's conditioned to go flight or fight and tell you you're not good enough, or tell you to take the easy way out, or to give
Mm.
up, right? So to be able to really believe in yourself, is very important, right? And even like practicing, like looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself words of positive encouragement. Sounds stupid, right? But what we come out of our mouth, like, often can be materialized, right? And manifested. So really having that belief that you are good enough, because it's a big leap, right? Entrepreneurship, starting your own business, not having that steady paycheck every other week or every week to rely on to provide for your family, can be scary and intimidating.
Yeah.
But having that belief and that mentality that no matter what, like, I believe in myself and I'm going to figure it out. And I think, like, on the flip side of that, like, people that go out and start companies, they've earned their stripes, right? They've come up. You see very few people that just get it, and start a company at 20 years old or 25 years old. God bless them all. I've spoken to a lot of young kids that are like, wow, how is this kid only 25, right? But few
Yeah.
and far between, right? Most people that go out and start businesses that have the foundation of how to run the business, they've built some connections in the space in the industry. So knowing that, hey, if I go out and this all fails, I know I can go back to corporate land. I know I can go back and find
Right.
another job if I need to, right? And believing that, but not really focusing on that.
Mm.
So I think that's an important mentality to have. Obviously, the belief in yourself. I also think people really overcomplicate, like, what is it going to be like 6 months from now or a year from now? So with both of my businesses and my colleagues, I'm always like, guys, we just got to get on first base. We don't need to realize how to get home right now. We don't need to hit a home run. We just have to get on first base. And like, you can't score a goal unless you're on the field. You can't
Yeah.
make optimizations to a campaign unless you're out there running a campaign, right? So I think one of the hardest parts of starting a business or starting a new initiative or anything is just getting on first base, knowing that you're not going to get it right most of the time on first base, right? And you
Yeah.
will make mistakes and you will figure things out. But that's like part of the beauty of starting your own business, of starting a
Yeah.
new project, right?
Part of the ride.
But also like a huge dent, like a huge thing in people's head that like stop them from starting is that fear of the future, right? And not dumbing it down to what is my next move to get me on first base. So that's been very helpful for me from a mentality standpoint. And I think the last piece that I've lived through, both when I was working for previous companies coming up, and now also in my first full year of owning my own business, is being able to ride the ebbs and flows of business, just like in life. Not everything is going to be rosy. We had a very big challenge in July in one of the main industries that we service that just happened. We couldn't have prepared for it. Long term, good for the business. Short term, a lot of pain, right?
Mm.
Our daily production was decimated over 2 weeks in our largest industry, right? Um, and the younger Rob, like would have really freaked out, right?
Yeah.
But just having the belief that, hey, okay, here's a curveball. We know what it is. We know how to solve it. Now we just got to go solve it, and we're not going to solve it overnight, right? So just being able to ride the ebbs and flows, right? When things are great, good. Don't be a schmuck with your money, your spending, right? When things are bad, realize like it's not going to stay this way forever, and just stay in the game with a positive attitude. Keep showing up, as much as some days may suck, right? Like not every day can be rosy, right? So having that fortitude to just ride the ebbs and flows of business life, like if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can't expect every day, every week, every month to be great, right?
To be great.
Hope for
Yeah.
the best, prepare for the worst, and in bad times or challenging times, like stay the course, right? Because the other part is like if you're running a business and you have people that depend on you, right? That you're their boss, like they also see how you are and how you react, right? And if you come with a negative attitude, like a defeated little puppy, they're going to feed off
Yeah.
that. And how much of that do they want to tolerate, right? It's not their company, it's your company, right? And so I think that's really important as well.
Yeah. That's
And
so.
something that I wasn't very good at in my early years, just riding, taking the punches and riding the wave.
Yeah, man. Geez, thank you for telling that story. It provides such good, realistic perspective on things not being rosy all the time, and obviously, like you said, to keep at it and break through, because things, the good and the bad things are temporary. The but Rob, I need to thank you first of all for coming on today. You provided, I can fully understand why you guys are so successful on both ends of OneSpeed and OnScript AI as well. The value that you bring, the value propositions are excellent. So first off, kudos, man. Congratulations. I think it's awesome what you guys do. May it only grow from strength to strength. And but Rob, before I let you go, tell me, where can the listeners, where can they get hold of you guys?
Yeah, sure. So for first and foremost, you can find me on LinkedIn, Robert Camhe, last name Camhe. You can go to either of our company websites, www.onespeed.co, the number one, like that, or www.onscript.ai. Those are the best ways. We make it very easy to contact us. Phone numbers, email addresses, contact us forms are all on the website. So
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Rob. All the best to you guys.
thank you for having me, Treg. Happy holidays.
Same to you. Take care.